First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking news at 4 in connection with Sunday's shooting of a Lyft driver. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Duffy.
And I'm Nicole Versansky. So less than a half hour ago, we learned there's an arrest in that case.
Brittany Weir has been working both of these investigations, is live with us now. Brittany, with the breaking developments.
Yes, Brian and Nicole, this is a story we have been following closely, and Cleveland police just announced that they have made an arrest in the murder of the Lyft driver from Sunday evening. They tell us they have arrested a 20-year-old male from Garfield Heights. Now, investigators are working to determine whether or not this suspect is also connected to the killing of another Lyft driver just 2 days later on Tuesday morning. But 56-year-old Antoine Latham was found dead inside of his car on Sunday night on Rose Hill Avenue. Police say he crashed into a guardrail after being shot in the head while driving for Lyft. Like we said, detectives arrested a 20-year-old man from Garfield Heights today, 72 hours after the killing. Police seized multiple firearms during that arrest, but now investigators are looking into whether he's also responsible for killing 27-year-old Vasyl Shvets. Shvets was a Lyft driver from Parma, and he was killed Tuesday morning. Police Chief Dorothy Todd says detectives are still gathering evidence to determine if the two murders are connected. In a statement, Chief Todd said that our detectives worked diligently around the clock to gather evidence, conduct interviews, and thoroughly review all aspects of these cases. Their swift and dedicated efforts led to an arrest within 72 hours. We will continue to actively investigate the separate tragic loss of life that occurred on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. While this arrest marks an important step forward, our work is far from over, and we remain fully committed to bringing those who are responsible to justice. Now, like we said, investigators are still working on this case to determine if those two are connected. Yesterday, they told us they were not connected, and now today they're kind of backtracking, working to see what they can find out. They're asking anyone with information on these two shootings to please give them a call. Live in Cleveland, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, my First Alert weather app tells me that it feels like 18 today. That's not exactly what we saw yesterday.
Not even close.
It's not anywhere close to 50, is it, right?
No.
No, we could see some snow, too. Actually snowing right now in downtown Cleveland. Some flakes flying.
Yeah.
19 First Alert meteorologist Andy Chillian joining us with these pleasant details. Yesterday was a lot easier to talk to.
I guess I have to frown today since I smiled yesterday. A big old change out there, but it's temporary. Just the next couple of days, we're back to that wintry feel, and then we'll start to moderate from there. Looking at our temperatures and wind chill, at least at Hopkins, 31 feels like 20. So there you go, very close to what the 19 First Alert weather app is probably saying in your location. 31 feels like 22 in Akron and feels like 19 in Canton. So it is blustery out there. It is colder. We've been hovering at these numbers really through much of the day. Now chilling down, though, to 27 in Ashtabula, and we've had some snow showers. Nothing real heavy, but we're seeing some of that lake effect coming off Erie, and potentially could even get a Lake Michigan connection in this now more northwest wind. But the rates of snow are heaviest, if you want to call it that, in parts of Geauga County, and now moving through northern Portage County as well, just north of 80 here, the turnpike. So watching for that. This isn't a real heavy snow, but nonetheless, if you're encountering it, just make sure you're staying safe and slowing down as necessary. But outside of the snow belt, some flakes have been flying. We've been seeing that in downtown Cleveland much of the day, and especially on the east side of Cleveland and into really the rest of the snow belt. So yeah, we have some flurries, some light snow showers, lake effect driven, that can be lasting the next few hours overnight into the start of the day tomorrow. Temperatures continue dropping to the 20s overnight. There's that northwest breeze, 10 to 20 miles per hour, so it will feel like it's in the teens as we start the day tomorrow. We are colder now with the lake effect snow. Then we will turn drier as we head into the weekend with warmer temperatures still coming next week as we moderate. I'll show you the trend with the First Alert 7-day coming up here in just a bit.
Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb is starting his second term, and one of his top priorities is keeping us safe.
Yeah, just how is he going to do that? That's not an easy job, costs a lot of money. 19 News reporter Catherine Huntley sat down with the mayor in a story you'll see only on 19 News.
After winning re-election last November, Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb is setting new goals for 2026.
Is number one, how do we tackle the affordability crisis? Number two, how do we keep our city safer? And number three, how do we plan long-term so Cleveland can compete on a national and global scale?
Right off the bat, Mayor Bibb told me this year is going to be tight.
And we want to make sure that we have fiscal, prudent management to ensure that we are doing more with less, being thoughtful about how we deploy our investments and how we deploy capital, but also making sure we're investing in the people of Cleveland to lower their cost of living, fixing our roads, our streets, and our bridges, and fixing those potholes, and taking care of the basics.
Basics like public safety, which will get an $11 million increase compared to last year's budget. Safety already makes up 46% of the city's general fund. That's more than $400 million. Bibb said the extra money will pay for technology to catch criminals and support higher pay for first responders.
More police officers walking our streets and walking the beat and helping us reduce violent crime. Since we took office, we've hired nearly 280 new officers to join our police department, which is a dramatic increase.
Now, the mayor will be presenting his version of the budget to City Council next week. Then they will have time to respond. The final budget is due on April 1st. However, poverty remains a major issue here in the city of Cleveland. Coming up at 6, I press the mayor on how he intends to fix it. In Cleveland, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
All right, so if you'd like to hear a little bit more about this from the mayor, Justin Bibb, on the city budget, you can do that. You can find the entire video from our interview posted in the story on cleveland19.com.
This is a 19 First Alert breaking traffic alert.
A couple new crashes to first alert you to, but I want to first alert you again to this one in Cleveland on the Opportunity Corridor that has drivers who are heading south going just 3 miles per hour as they try to make their way around that crash. That's where the Opportunity Corridor passes Buckeye Road. With drivers only going 3 miles per hour for a mile, that means that if you're about to be joining them, you're going to be seeing 20 minutes extra for your drive there. So I'll be keeping my eye on this and let you know how that is faring in my First Alert traffic updates. But now I want to bring you to these two new issues. This one in Lorain is also causing a large backup with very slow speeds, just 7 miles per hour through a 3-mile stretch on Route 113 eastbound, and that crash is over by West Ridge Road. But with those backups all the way by where 113 passes 58, your drive here is going to be about 25 minutes longer.
A Stark County man sentenced to 16 to 20 years in prison for stabbing his 70-year-old parents. Joshua Schaefer's dad called 911 for help, saying his son was drunk and stabbing him and stabbing his mother. Both parents were seriously hurt, but survived.
North Canton police arresting these two, wanted in connection to an attempted carjacking and shooting. This was last week. Joran McLeod is on the left and Julius Edwards is on the right. They're both facing several charges, including robbery. Shooting happened on Rose Lane Street Southeast. The victim shot in the leg, but we understand will recover. All
right, so does this man look familiar to you? I know this picture is a little grainy, but take a look. Investigators from the Lorain County Sheriff's Department say he tried to cash a fake check at a CheckSmart location in Lorain last month. There's some more pictures. Pretty good look at his face here. Employees called 911, but the man ran from deputies. So if you have information on who this is, if you know who this is, or if you know about this case, contact the Lorain County Sheriff's Department. Attorney General Pam Bondi testifies on Capitol Hill today as the Justice Department faces pushback over the latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Now, survivors of the late convicted sex offender are questioning extensive redactions in the DOJ files and why a number of documents are still being withheld.
Erica Brown now with the latest from Washington.
In a contentious hearing Thursday, Attorney General Pam Bondi sparred with lawmakers on the House Judiciary Committee over the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein files.
Were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath.
Republican Congressman Thomas Massie says lawmakers discovered the names of powerful men that he says were unlawfully redacted in the files.
He's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking.
Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out of
he's
over
listed as a co-conspirator.
and we invited you in.
Gentlemen,
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome.
Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse slammed the Justice Department's handling of the files after some sensitive information about them was not redacted in the publicly released material, while details about potential co-conspirators were concealed.
Abusers' names and contact information is redacted while our faces and stories are left on full display. This is not protection. This is betrayal.
When asked by lawmakers to apologize to survivors at the hearing, Bondi instead defended the DOJ's handling of the files.
We were given 30 days to review and redact and unredact millions of pages of documents. Our error rate is very low.
Bondi also touted the Justice Department's efforts to target drug cartels, fight violent crime, and aid in the Trump administration's immigration enforcement. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Well, a small local farm community is closer to stopping a massive industrial project that they say would destroy their way of life.
So we're talking 600 acres on the line. That's more than 4 times the size of Edgewater Beach for perspective.
Noel Williams shows us how neighbors in Lorain County are again rallying to have their voices heard.
When you look at what it is right now and what it could be maybe 5-10 years from now, what would you like to see?
Oh my gosh, I would love to see this stay just like that.
Erin Mason is living in fear of the unknown in New Russia Township. She fears what will happen next on this land across the street from where she, her son, and fiance call home in this rural town.
We watch the northern lights over there. We watch the solar eclipse behind us. It's terrifying to think that all of that could be gone.
Take a look at the 622 acres of farmland near the Lorain County Airport. It's at the center of a possible industrial takeover by Liberty Development. Tuesday night, the Zoning Commission voted to recommend denying the company's application, citing community opposition. It now heads to the Board of Trustees for consideration. I reached out to the board and company. I'm still waiting for an official comment. However, the company previously shared a possible benefit: new jobs.
There's other places. There are other places available to do this.
Brenda Buchanan says now is the time to say no. She lives in Columbia Township and is running for State House Representative. However, she's invested in this ongoing process. She says she's seen something like this before.
My community used to be a very rural community, but they've built so many houses in the last 30 years here. So I hate to see that development, especially industrial development, coming into townships.
In New Russia Township, Noel Williams, 19 News.
Well, after 8 years of service to the city of Twinsburg, Canine Caesar is officially retired. The 10-year-old German Shepherd spent his entire career helping with countless drug detections, patrol work, and several arrests. Caesar was a charmer as well at school and community events. So his handler says his retirement duties now include, here they go, full-time couch security and strategic snack acquisition.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
All right, temperatures definitely colder today than yesterday, and tomorrow even a bit colder than today. We have some lake effect flurries and snow showers ongoing. Those will linger tonight, and we could even still see a few flurries tomorrow with temperatures stuck in the 20s. But then improvement comes. If you liked yesterday's weather, we have to wait a few more days, but not too long. Friday into the weekend, we start to moderate again. We'll actually be close to the 50-degree mark on Saturday and Sunday, even if we don't reach it officially. Going to keep us mainly dry. Still looking to miss that southern storm system on Sunday, so we'll likely stay dry with a mix of clouds and sun. And then next week, still a little bit of spring fever with highs in the 40s and even nearing the 50s by Tuesday and Wednesday. It'll be about this time next week we could see an actual chance for some showers and likely to just be rain. If we're at 50 degrees, we certainly aren't getting snow in that pattern. So snow chances pretty low over the next few days outside of course, the lake effect that we're seeing right now. Here's tomorrow's temperatures and wind chills. So notice temperatures stuck in the 20s all day. Wind chills will be in the teens. It won't be as windy tomorrow, which is a good thing because these numbers are already low enough. But this will be our coldest day by far over the next several. So if we can get through tomorrow, then we got a little bit more of that taste of spring as we head through the rest of the week ahead. All right, First Alert Future View does show some of those snow showers. We've been seeing those across a lot of the snow belt. Even outside the snow belt, you're probably seeing a few flurries, but actual snow that would have the chance of accumulating has been in the snow belt. And we have a potential for a few more bands developing as we do head through this evening and overnight. A lot of this is coming from Lake Erie, the cracks in the ice, but some of it also more of a Lake Michigan connection on that northwest wind that we've been seeing here. Tomorrow morning, we start with temperatures low in mid-20s, and we really don't rise much from there throughout the rest of the day. We'll stay well below freezing under a cloudy sky, and there still can be a few flakes that fly throughout the day from time to time tomorrow. Then we clear out just in time Thursday night and Friday morning to give us a pretty cold start. This will also be our coldest morning over the next several, so if we can get past Friday morning with temperatures in the teens, we'll be good to go, but could be as low as about 13 in Worcester, 16 in Dover, as well as in Canton, and 15 to start the day in Akron. Again, that's for Friday morning, but by Friday afternoon, we'll start to see temperatures rising back above freezing. So here's our snow tracker. Nothing really impressive through early tomorrow. We'll say 1 to 2 in the snow belt, and where any bands persist, otherwise under an inch, if not even just a dusting or less for the rest of us, just some of those flakes flying. First Alert 7 days shows the milder trend. Friday right around seasonable at 37, 40s Saturday and Sunday. Lots of sunshine Friday and Saturday, gathering a few clouds on Sunday, but overall not bad for Valentine's Day on Saturday, President's Day on Monday. If kids have a 3-day weekend, or if you do as well, we'll keep it dry, still in the upper 40s, and then there's 50 degrees for Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, there could be a few rain showers possible this time next week on Wednesday as that next system tries to skirt through. But either way, not a lot of snow here over the next 7 days.
Time now for a look at the top 4 stories making headlines at 4.
TMZ has received a new ransom note demanding 1 Bitcoin for information about Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper. That's worth about $66,000.
The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. The developments come as a delivery man says he was detained in connection with the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. Investigators searched his home, but they released him hours later.
Today, the Ohio Supreme Court heard arguments in the death of Cleveland firefighter Johnny Tetrick. Prosecutors will be arguing that Tetrick's death was not an accident and that Leander Bissell acted knowingly when he hit and killed Tetrick on I-90 near MLK. Bissell was originally convicted of murder. So at stake, whether prosecutors believe this is murder, which would be a life sentence for Bissell, or manslaughter, which would bring a considerably lighter sentence.
What a mess in Chicago. Morning commuter train service was disrupted in suburban Chicago after a 9,000-foot freight train derailed. It's unknown how many cars are actually off the tracks, but the crossing will be closed for at least today, maybe longer. The accident did not involve any hazardous materials and no injuries were reported.
Alex Murdaugh's attorney appeared before the South Carolina Supreme Court today to argue their client deserves a new trial after his double murder conviction in 2023. Murdaugh is serving a life sentence for the shooting deaths of his wife Maggie and younger son Paul outside their home in June of 2021. So the defense argues the trial judge made rulings that prevented a fair trial, like allowing evidence of Murdaugh stealing from his clients that biased jurors against him. Breaking at this hour, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is at the White House this afternoon. The Prime Minister wants President Trump to expand talks with Iran over its nuclear program. The U.S. and Iran are close to a deal, but Israel wants the talks to include limits on Iran's ballistic missile program and support for militant groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. The meeting, all behind closed doors, took less than 3 hours.
Cleveland Clinic Akron General resumed normal visitation hours this afternoon, days after a massive water main break. 12-inch main broke across the street from the ER, flooding some parts of the hospital. Trauma cases still being diverted to Summa Health System Akron. In an email, the hospital thanked patients and their families for their patience during the cleanup effort.
Actor James Van Der Beek has died after a battle with cancer. Van Der Beek is known for his portrayal of Dawson Leary in Dawson's Creek. He also appeared in films like Varsity Blues, The Rules of Attraction, Labor Day. In 2024, he revealed he was diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. Van Der Beek leaves behind his wife, Kimberly, and 6 children. He was just 48 years old.
All right, so tonight's the last Cavs game before the All-Star break. They will be off for over a week, but tonight will be our first chance to see James Harden in person with his new team, the Beard.
Fear the Beard. That's what they're calling it. So this is what fans are going to get for Harden's home debut as a big event for the Cavs.
Looks good on you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Do you like it? Cavs have won 9 out of 10, and Leah Doherty is there to cover it all live. So she joins us now. I wonder what fans are going to think as they see everyone, with these beards on, Leah.
Hey guys, they are ready to celebrate the Beard tonight. 18,000 of these. You really have to give it up to the Cavs promotions team, how quickly they turned this around. Fans coming to Rocket Arena tonight. We'll get to have this. It's kind of hard to hold it up with my mic and talk at the same time. I'll give you a little look. I think it's a good look. Maybe not for me, though. But ever since James Harden joined this team, this Cavs group has looked like a totally different bunch. And really, that was fully on display Monday night in Denver. They had maybe their most impressive win of the season, taking down the Nuggets. Harden had 22 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, including a huge 3 late to tie the game. Kobe Altman says Harden raises their ceiling as a team. And Kenny Atkinson says that Harden, with his 17 years of experience, it's almost like having a second coach out there on the floor.
It's an absolute luxury. I think this. I think James' arrival. I mean, it's 2 games. But I think it's given Don like a different energy. I just see him. He knows we're pretty good now. He knows we got a chance.
He's a great player. He's probably Hall of Famer, and when he's playing in some other different team that we are not usually to see it, it's always a little bit different. But we know who he is and what he brings to the table.
There's a reason why he's here. He is who he is, right? Like this, his reputation precedes him. When you're as good as he is and as good as we are as a group, we kind of figure things out on the fly, and that speaks to the talent that we have in this room.
The Cavs hosting the Wizards tonight. They might have one of the worst records in the league, but this is not a team you want to overlook. The Cavs have to be careful. It's their last game before the All-Star break. They haven't been home in a while, so you have to be careful of that trap game. Washington is without 2 of their stars, Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Tonight, Cleveland will still be without Evan Mobley. Ashley Holder will have more at 5 o'clock on this matchup. Live in Rocket Arena, Leah Doherty, 19 News.
All right, Leah, thanks. Should be a lot of fun. New at 4, we're getting a look at some new renderings of the future Cleveland Browns indoor stadium in Brook Park. Plans give us a new look at what they are planning for the stadium, as well as a look at hotel, office space, and some shopping areas. Man, it's a good-looking stadium, isn't it? Those areas will be incorporated into the campus, so there should be a lot to do in the area. Prep work has already begun on the site. But the battle over how to pay for this new facility, at least $600 million of it, is still underway. Well, 1 person is dead and a child rescued after their car went into the Ohio River. Deputies say the car went off the side of a road, hit a utility pole, before then sliding into the river. The driver of the car died in the crash, but crews were somehow able to pull a child from the car. Was taken to the hospital for treatment. No condition right now being released.
Well, police and deputy marshals in Cincinnati make an arrest in a $221,000 ATM heist. back in January. Calvin Newbolt is believed to be one of 2 gunmen who confronted a Brinks armored car worker servicing an ATM outside a Kroger store, grabbed ATM storage devices that each held thousands of dollars. Their getaway car died as it left the grocery store, so they had to transfer the money to a second getaway truck. Police were able to trace the theft to Newbolt thanks to a cell phone left in the disabled getaway car. He's now charged with aggravated robbery.
Well, just a horrible crime out of Central Ohio. A Maumee woman is facing child endangerment charges, accused of contaminating her own child's IV. Last Friday, staff at Nationwide Children's Hospital told police they saw Tiffany LeSueur inject a foreign substance in her child's IV port, and so they started closely monitoring her visits. On Sunday, they again called police saying they saw LeSueur injecting what they believed to be human waste into the child's IV. LeSueur was arrested, ordered not to have unsupervised contact with minors as part of her bail. She is out of jail. Child remains hospitalized.